Okay, welcome back, everybody. Another Monday morning, another day trading the S&P 500, the ES on the futures, scalping it, just setting up a screen. How's everyone doing? Let's look at the chat. Sean Evans is back. Good morning, Sean. Cherry, good to see you. Cody, great to see you, my friend. How are we all doing? Have a good weekend, I hope. Charis, long time. How's the yacht? Peter, good day. Good day to you, Peter, or good night, I guess, because it's so late by you. Kingdom Trader, good morning as well. How are we all doing? I think we're just about to open. And boom. Bit laggy. Lots of buy pressure coming in. Just finished the last 2-hour ES trade session. Very good stuff. Nils, great to see you, my friend. Alameen, good to see you. Good morning to you. Look at this. Look at all these buyers coming in. And completely failed there. Did you see that right there? Spiked over to 1,000, completely failed. Sellers trying to take over, but don't be. I'm not fully convinced yet, but the sellers might take this. But that was very interesting. Right now, of course, more bearish. If we get above those buyers again, we could go up. But that right there, you just saw them all get absorbed heavily. So I am going to be a bit more bearish as of yet, just based on that. But we are in a gap, so it's going to be a bit choppy. Buyers came back in on the gap. I'll show you my levels real quick. I'm just going to pop to the buyers just popped up there. Actually, let's keep looking at this order flow. This is really interesting here. 417, there is a gap. There is a gap. Or the buyers took it again. See, don't write them off just yet. There was a big iceberg right here. You saw that in real time, how that instantly, boom, they got trapped and got pushed down. But we don't want to chase the market because of the gap. It still could be anyone's game right now. You can see, look, buyers are getting absorbed at the top again. This is very choppy up and down. It could be anyone's game right now, but it does look like the buyers are breaking through a lot of these icebergs here. So we'll see what happens. But in terms of my levels, there was a gap there created from this push up. We just dipped back into it. We're now shooting back up again. I got another level at the top here at 6715. That's going to be potentially a short, but there's another one just above it and another one just above it. And the best one really is up here. I got an alert set for that one as well, because that's a longer term area as well. In terms of below us, there's a few little ones. There's one here starting at 656. Whether we'll get down there, I don't know. It's possible, but it is still quite a bit to go. So I don't know. But ideally we push up. There's a lot more areas we can trade off higher up than there is lower down. So in an ideal world, we go up. But as of yet, I am going to be slightly more bullish for now, just because of that rejection there. But there is sell pressure. I mean, there is someone absorbing a lot of these buyers all in this area here. They're absorbing quite heavily. So anyone's game at this moment in time. Let's see. Hello, Ange Trader. Good to see you. Good to see all the usual names. I see a few names I haven't seen before. Ange, I think you're new, Ange. Let me know. Is this your first time tuning in? If so, welcome. Amazing. Welcome. Where are you from in the world? ES rejecting. TPO value area high. Interesting. From Scotland. Amazing. Good stuff. There's a story. I went to Edinburgh. I've been to Edinburgh a few times, but I went to the, I don't know, where in Scotland are you from? But when I went to Edinburgh, I went into the underground old city, and I kid you not, I am 1,000,000% convinced I recorded a ghost. In fact, I'll show you guys on this stream my Edinburgh ghost picture. I'm telling you, this was freaky, man. I've got it on Google Drive, so I could probably show you guys at some point. I'll just try load it up while this market figures out what it wants to do, because right now there's nothing really here for us at this moment in time. So I'm just going to log into my Google Drive and get it up. Dun, 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 dun. Where is it? Hopefully I can find it again. It should be here somewhere. If not, I'll have to figure out where it is. Let me just search for it. Ah, there it is. Oh, I don't know if you could actually see it, unfortunately. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but I'll show it anyway, because it's a bit dark. But where is the chat? Good morning, coach. Thank you. Thank you. Disclaimer though, I live here, but I'm Italian. No problem. Hello, everyone. I'm new here. My name is Pat. I've watched Sammy's videos. All I can say is impressive. I also like the humble attitude. I hope I can contribute to this channel in some way. SP Ticker, welcome. Amazing. Thank you so much for the kind words. I hope you enjoy the streams. I'll show you guys the little ghost thing while we wait for the market to do something. So this was a live photo, right? So you know on an iPhone, when you take a photo, you can kind of like play the live photo. So this was like one of the rooms in the dungeon. It's such bad quality. 1 minute, I got a better idea. Let me download the video so it's full quality, and then I can play it just off. Because streaming it, the quality is really shit. So that's not going to work. If I open up the file, here we go. Oh, that's better quality. All right, so right there, you see this figure, right? There was nothing there. It was a normal picture. The flash went off, and this is a live photo, and then all of a sudden, you got this weird kind of, it looks like a shadow. It's not a shadow, I promise you. No one was there, but there's just this figure standing right next to me. This black kind of, you can almost make out. And as I obviously move the camera, it kind of stays where it is. Really, really weird, man. The flash went off. I'm just sort of like dragging along on the live photo, and then boom, all of a sudden there's something there standing there. Freaky as hell, man. I don't know. So, I don't know. Was it a ghost? What do you guys think? I have no idea. Very weird, man. Yep, that's creepy. It's BlackRock. BlackRock looking over. Can you check NQ2, Sammy? I target a sell at 24,744. Absolutely, I can check NQ. Let's do that. Let's check NQ now, because the ES is not really doing anything. We're kind of drifting up, but it's still, buyers and sellers are still locking horns. So let's have a look at what NQ is doing. I'm just gonna get rid of all the drawings so I can redo it. NQ, NQ, NQ. There's a bunch of smaller areas on the session volume profile, these little gaps that seem to be, that one was tested already. And then we've got another one at the top here. I'm going to do a volume profile, the actual move down also. That kind of lines up with that kind of gap. There's no real gap there. There's one right at the bottom here, but that's already, we're far away from that. Where were you looking at? A sell at 24,744. 24,744. So around there, yeah, I would definitely be looking at that area too. For me, it starts a little bit higher at 789. Oh, there's another tiny area here, but it has been traveled through a couple of times, and it doesn't really line up on the next day's volume profile. So I'm going to be less inclined to take that one unless the footprint shows something really good. I'm less inclined for that, but I'll be waiting more for these ones at the top here as really good shorts. But absolutely, there could, if we get there, there could definitely be a bit of a rejection, maybe a slight pullback, and you can capture, a few points at least, maybe 10, 20 points, whatever, right? So for a scalp, absolutely, a scalp is always possible. You only need a little bit with a scalp. You don't need to catch a big move, But very similar story with the ES. There's not much really below us, except for this kind of area at the bottom here. But again, we're quite far away from it. You can still get there, but who knows? But at the top, we got a few levels that we could definitely scalp off of. So NQ, similar to the ES, it's not looking too bad. It's not looking too bad. So we kind of want this market to push up so we can get a trade, Let's go back to the footprint, see if there's anything interesting happening. Ugh. Nah, not really. Yeah, the volume distribution is all over the place. Buyers, sellers, everyone is kind of just everywhere, meaning it's complete chaos, basically. There's no clear-cut kind of bullish or bearish volume distribution right now. Maybe on the 5-minute, you might be able to see a bit more. The 5-minute, at this moment in time, because we're above the majority of the buyers, it's looking a little bit more bullish. But again, there's not that many sellers, but where the sellers are, we are above them. So it is looking a bit more, definitely looking a bit more bullish. In that last few seconds was looking good, and now we've had that pop up. So here we go. They've finally broken through. Maybe, hopefully, the sellers kind of give up for a bit, let this market drift up, and then we'll have a trade. The ghost manipulated you. This is rollover week. The volumes might be less trustworthy until later in the weeks. This is just the continuous contract, right? So I think it is on TradingView. It's just a continuous one. So it will be it doesn't actually tell me, unfortunately. So I'm not sure, but I'm only using it for analysis. I'm actually executing on Ola Prime Markets, which is technically CFD. So I'm executing on a CFD broker because I'm obviously part of Ola Prime. But I'm using the futures data to make the decisions. That makes sense because it's the same chart essentially. CFD futures, same chart. The only difference is the actual price is a little bit different. But apart from that, the CFD basically gets its movement from the futures market, right? So that's currently how I'm doing it. But interesting, yeah. Quite interesting what happened. There was a big battle here. I think the buyers now we're starting to see that bullish volume distribution. Notice how the sellers are predominantly at the bottom of the candle. We got big buyers above them and we're trading above them. Now we're getting that bullish. We actually got it a little bit before, to be fair. On the last few candles, we started getting that bullish distribution happening. But before that, it was just a bit of chaos. So in this area here, very hard to kind of know what was happening. And then the clarity slowly started coming in on the last few candles. So, all right, let's get this market up, hopefully, and see what happens as we get to those gaps. If we can take a few short positions potentially. You're on March still by looking at your level. June ES is 6760 plus now. Okay, interesting. Good stuff. Bit of a disconnect between ES and NQ. I wonder what the Dow's doing actually. Let's have a look at the Dow. Oops, not YT, YM. Let's have a look at Dow. Just based on, what is this? This is the wrong one. Where's the CME? The Dow looks, let me just look on the candlesticks. That's strange. What's going on here? It should be COMEX. Why is it? Why am I missing? That's strange. Normally it's okay. It's giving me all the different contracts now. I didn't realize TradingView did that. Fair enough. But something this is just, where's the continuous contract? Am I being, what's going on? I always have the YM. All right. I don't know. Who knows? I guess just the Nasdaq and oh, the NQ is, you're right, it's very different. What's going on here? The NQ is selling off compared to the S&P. That is a big disconnect. You're absolutely right, Cody. That is, well, now it's slowly starting to, but you're absolutely right. That is very, okay. So I'm assuming that the Dow is pushing up quite heavy. I'm trying to get back to the footprint. Here we go. And that's causing the ES to be more bullish there. Oh, okay. We're in the area. All right, cool. This is where it starts getting interesting. Right, big chunk of volume came in. I'm assuming there's going to be take profits in this area. So, whoops, let me just draw a line, see if it matches up to any kind of highs or anything of interest. So we are starting to get to, they're not really highs, but there was a little high here. So I'm expecting some take profits to occur. We also created a little gap as we pushed up. So I'm going to just draw out that gap a little bit. We're still pushing up. Let me get into the 1 minute, really look at this volume now. Right, so we definitely had a bit of profit taking. I'm not interested in these sellers just yet. I'm going to be a bit more cautious because what I ideally want to see is, I'm going to treat majority of these big buyers as people taking profit, right? And a lot of these sellers are going to be people trailing. I'm going to treat them as buyers who are trailing and are getting essentially stopped out in profit. That's what I'm going to treat it as. So I want to wait for fresh buyers to come back in, fail, and then we can go short. Because I want to see a fresh influx of buyers. Then I know for a fact those are real buyers. They're not profit taking. So let me just get rid of this little drawing here. There we go. You know what? I got a better tool for drawing. Actually, I'll leave it. I'll do it next time. Just because it slows down the PC a little bit. Actually, I can load it up. Why not? It should be fine. Something called Epic Pen. It's pretty cool. All right, these are the fresh buyers. We know these are fresh buyers. Now, these people got skin in the game. All right. So these people, don't slow down. Come on. Damn PC. Here's the little drawing tool. I'll put that there so it's not in the way. So these people are going to be interesting now, because if they fail and we get below them, I'll be looking for a short. A lot of these people are fresh buyers now, trying to get this market up. But they seem to be holding quite well. Bit of a struggle, but nothing too, bit of absorption, but nothing too major yet. So I really kind of want to be getting below that 290 quite a bit. And then I got to see sell aggression as well. Then I'm happy to go in. All right, we're kind of getting there. I want to see a bit of sell pressure come in. 85, nothing big. 100, 120, 96, back down to 78, 82, 98, 100. All right, I'm going to go in one contract already. Now my stop can be literally just above here. And see if we can get some kind of a pullback. If we can take out the low of this candle, that's going to be good. I'll enjoy seeing that. But realistically speaking, around here is where I imagine buyers to come back in again. So I'm going to be a bit more cautious. But let's see how these sellers fare. If they start struggling, I'm just going to take the money and get out. But hopefully they can keep pushing this down. That's a lot of buyers getting stopped out here at break even, right? So if these are fresh buyers coming in, we don't want them to be effective. We need to get below them, trap them like we did at the top there. If they become effective, we got to get out. Because all this sell pressure, that's majority of these people just getting stopped out. There we go. We got them again. More people getting stopped out. Nice. This is the first area where I'm going to be a bit more cautious, but I'm going to try hold it until I see something really bad. All right, more sellers kind of coming in, but they're getting a bit struggling here. Buyers are trying to push them up naturally. We know, again, these are most likely people getting stopped out from the bottom of this candle. The buyers are coming back in. I'm going to get out. I think these are fresh buyers. I think that's as much as it's going to give us right now. Didn't quite get enough momentum to really get it down, unfortunately. These are now fresh sellers. These people, they're fresh sellers. They're no longer buyers getting stopped out. So this should be interesting. Because we know these are fresh buyers. Where's my pen? These lot are fresh buyers, right? Trying to push the market up. Now we got fresh sellers coming in. So this is the real battle here. Whoever wins here will determine where the market's going to go, at least for the short term. Okay, it looks like sellers actually managed to get below those buyers. Buyers are still coming in. This is going to be a bit of a battle here. We may even range because both of them are quite adamant. Sammy, may I have your email? Absolutely. So my email is sam@olaprime.com. I'll put it in the chat for you. olaprime.com. That's my email, SP ticker. Good morning, Holy Earth. Good to see you. Hello, people. Do we have a setup to go long or short? As of now, Daniel, we're kind of in a very interesting spot. Basically, what happens here is really going to determine whether we're going up or down, in my opinion. Because all this sell pressure, that was just these people getting stopped out, right? They're all putting their stops basically at break even. Everyone who got in. A lot of it's going to be profit taking as well near the top here. So I think that was profit taking from original buyers. Some of these people are going to be real fresh buyers as well in the market, and they're all getting stopped out at break even. Then we got an influx of new buyers coming in and new sellers coming in, and they're battling it out now. So it's down to, we can kind of almost ignore. I've drawn too much crap on the chart. That's why I should use that other program, because I have to delete every freaking line here. I keep forgetting. I'll use the other pen tool. It's so much better. I'll just leave that. That's fine. But it's down to now what happens here that's really going to be determining whether the market's going to go up and down. This is the interesting area. It looks like the sellers are starting to trap the buyers more at the highs, right? We're seeing the majority of buyers are really trapped at the top here. Sellers are kind of, especially these guys here, they were very good at keeping the market, below them. We do have those sellers though getting trapped at the bottom here because buyers are happy to transact near the lows. So it's going to be a bit of a range, in my opinion, for a little while. We might get a little up-down movement for the next 5 minutes or so before we actually get a decision. So I'm going to be holding off a little bit until there's a bit more clarity, to be honest. Sammy, just to be sure, since it's CFD, as you said, have you said the trade is one lot, not one contract? Yeah, sorry, one lot. I still have my futures brain on, so I always say one contract, but you're absolutely right. It's one lot. One lot. You are absolutely right, Ange Trader. Hello, Sammy. Good morning. Good morning, AJ. How are you? You're welcome, SP Ticker. You're welcome. Yeah, so we're just starting to range now. All right. So the good thing is if you're really on form, on point, some days you can read exactly what's going on in the market, and when you can read the story, it becomes a little bit clearer to kind of know what is happening. Oh, look at that! Buyers are trying to get it up. No, sellers didn't allow them. It is a battle. It is a battle. Like at this moment in time, it's almost impossible to know whether it's going to continue going up or go down. Like, truth be told, because it all depends what happens next. And we don't know. Is someone going to enter really heavily, aggressively sell? Are people going to aggressively buy? No idea, right? Like, it's down to whatever they want to do, right? So no way of kind of predicting it. It's very much a coin flip when you get into these kind of areas. The only thing you can really do is look at the efficiency of the market, but the market is completely flat. If you look at the cumulative, we started this range with this candle. We were at 10,880. We're now at 10,800 and, well, was 80, back, basically completely flat. That means buyers and sellers are 100% equal at this moment in time. Both are as aggressive as each other. It's anyone's game. You can flip a coin at this point. So we just have to wait for the result, and then we can base our decision after that. But at this moment in time, if you had to trade it, the best thing you could do is long at the bottom, short at the top. But the range is so tight, it's not even worth. I mean, what kind of range is this? Yeah, it's like 5 points to range. It's not even worth it. So yeah. Oh, big chunk of sellers trying to trade the breakout. We know that it's not. I mean, it could be partially some stops getting hit from the buy side, because we did technically break the low. So some of these people were, I would say, buyers getting stopped out, but that's definitely still fresh sellers coming in just before it, trying to get the market down, who are now trapped. So who knows? Who knows? It's still, the battle is still going on. Great. Having a lunch in Agadir, Morocco. Oh yeah, you went to Morocco for holiday. You're still there. Amazing stuff. How is it? Can't wait to get back home next week and trade. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Oh, look at that. The buyers really, there you go. Those are all the sellers getting stopped out right there. See that 443? Anyone who sold in this range just got stopped out, and it looks like the buyers have taken it. So super interesting. You can literally see where all their stop losses were triggered. So these aren't fresh buyers. These are sellers getting annihilated, essentially. No different to these sellers at the bottom here. These are actually buyers getting annihilated. So everyone lost, essentially. The majority of people lost. He said efficiency. All the Germans just packed up their ears. Very true. Can you tell me the row size used for gold, sir? The row size for gold, I have no idea, but it just the best thing to do. I'll have a look real quick. There's no like perfect row size. It just comes down to what visually looks good, right? So this is gold at the moment. These rows are quite small at the moment, so you want to get the clusters a bit bigger so you can read it easier. So I'd bump it up maybe to 8. Let's have a look. 8 doesn't look too bad. You could probably even go to 12. I always do it in sets of 4 though, right? Oops. Yeah, I would say about 12 looks good. Each cluster is a decent size now. It's a bit easier to read. So, but it's down to personal preference, right? There's no magic in a certain row size or anything like that. It's just what's easier to kind of see the clusters, as in terms of size. That's all you're doing, right? So it's personal preference. Some people like to have really small clusters. Personally, I find it easier to read when the clusters are about that kind of size. So I don't know what I had it before. I think I had it at 4 before. I've just bumped it up to 8. Yeah, I bumped it up to 8. So let's go back to 4. Yeah, you see now on 4, the clusters are getting a bit small. So it's becoming a little bit harder to read. Right, so we did have profit taken at these highs again. If you look at the highs, you're seeing a bit of spike in volume there on the buy side. That's a lot of profit taking. Even that spike at the top, I wouldn't be surprised if that's profit taking as well. Does that line up to another high? Doesn't really line up to anything. So I would say those are probably actual fresh buyers getting in on the breakout. These people are now potentially trapped, those buyers, right? So if they get squeezed out, which I think they already have, it goes back down. We kind of missed that one. It took a bit too long to look at and identify if they were real buyers or just take profits. But again, get below them, squeeze them out, there's a move. But buyers are always happy to jump back in. It's still a very choppy, volatile market right now. It's not the best. Let's have a look at the comments. It's great. Morocco is nice, great people, warm weather. Love it. Amazing. Good to hear. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Oh, it will be clearer after rollover, in my opinion. The volume regime based on cumulative volume delta should be a great tool to time and extend first 30-minute period. The best rewarding days happen at first 30-minute hour or yeah. I think you're right as well. I think it's definitely going to have a bit more clarity after as well. But we're day traders. We'll try trade anything. That's what we do. Doesn't matter. We'll just trade for the hell of it. But it's good that you have the cautious mindset. That is very good to have. I got in the buy targeting 24,745. Very nice. Very nice. I think it'll be a nice buy, to be fair. I do think the buyers overwhelmingly are better than the sellers right now. They're just a little bit more eager. But but the buyers are very cautious as well. They're trailing hard. Like a lot of that sell volume that came in, we know for a fact, again, that's going to be a lot of potential buyers who got in getting stopped out again, trailing, getting stopped out. But then we do have this cluster of buyers. Now notice how they're happy to start buying a bit higher up now, right? These buyers here. We know those are fresh buyers. I'm ignoring the sellers for now because I'm going to treat them as more as people exiting, getting stopped out, whatever. Except for the sellers that are coming in below these levels. Those are going to be real sellers. But you can see the real sellers are getting essentially trapped. Buyers are coming in fresh. They're still, I would say there's a bullish market right now. I'd say the buyers are definitely way more in control here. And look, fresh buyers coming in aggressively. Unless they fail, I would say we're going up. Now, the only reason I wouldn't take a buy is because we're too close to this next gap. It's just a little bit too close to the next potential area. So I'd rather, because it just doesn't make sense risk reward wise. If I got in here, but that is a hammer foot though. Peter, we've got a hammer foot there. Because look, even if we get out optimal, maybe around here or something, we've only got like 5 points or something away from it. It's not really worth it. It is funny when you change row size, it can change the delta from red to green and vice versa. Obviously still the same, it just looks different. Absolutely. When you change, because obviously it squashes a whole area. So for example, if I change row size to make it bigger, where we got 240 here and 131, if it groups one as a cluster, it will now show positive 110, or 19, whatever, them two minus basically. Do you see what I mean? So if I, for example, so we're at 4, so if I double it to make it 8, it should show 109. You see what I mean? So it can, because it hides some of the data, but it's just, you're just combining two rows together, That's all you're doing, two clusters together. So the volume looks like it changes, but it's actually still completely legit, the volume, if you do the math. But to be fair, 8 is looking maybe a bit easier to read right now, but I'm going to drop it back to 4 again. I kind of like 4. The clusters are a bit small, but there's a lot of good volume in each cluster. This is a very high volume market right now. So, oh look, the buyers failed. These fresh buyers still not ready, and you can see them getting out the market there. Those buyers who entered, so they're buyers are keeping it very tight as well. They're not holding on. Naturally, there's going to be buyers below, stops below those lows here. So if we get below them, you're going to see them all flood out. But these buyers, they were quick to get out. You can see them very quick to get out. They're not messing around. No one is holding this market. They're all scalping very quickly. Super tight stops. Everyone's very cautious. So yeah, it doesn't look great right now. It doesn't look great. Does not look great. But let's see what happens if we break this low here. Watch all the buyers get stopped out the moment we pop below it. That's if we do pop below it. I think we will. It's so close now. You see buyers trying to defend, trying to just quickly jump in on the lows. But they might do it. To be fair, they might actually defend here. They might just about hold it. Oh, they're holding it. Question is, are these sellers going to overwhelm them? Oh, look at that. The buyers held it. Damn. They got very close. There was a lot of nervous buyers as we approached those lows. They were sweating. Sorry to spam about my NQ, but I think there is a chance we visit 24,613. There is a nice gap there to continue bullish. Let's have a look. Let's have a look real quick on NQ. What was it? 24,613. 24,613. I'm just going to draw a line. 13, about there. Let's see, where is the gap? So if I draw a volume profile, I don't know where exactly you drew it from, but say we drew it from here. Oh yeah, there is a very nice gap. You're absolutely right. I think that would be a really good. And you can see where it was caused, the gap. It was caused on this move up here. This is where the aggression came in. So if we look at the volume, I'm just going to make the row size. I'll just do it auto. There was definitely a spike in volume, not massive because this was pre-market, so the volume's always going to be a bit lower. But yeah, there was definitely a bit of build up and it just popped through. And did it ever retest again? Oh, I got very close to retesting on the open. Got very close, but I do think you're absolutely right, Charis. That would be a good good buy in that area. Absolutely. If we get there, that'll be a good buy. NQ's got into the first gap that we have here, actually. And we did have a bit of rejection, but it looks like they're about to pop through, potentially. So, where is the ES? It's the ES. I can't remember now. What's happening with the ES? Let's have a look. Come on. There we go. Just gonna make it the row size. Oh, ES has just popped through. Again, you're seeing that profit taking happening. People getting out at the highs. But look at that. Look at that. Look at that hammer foot. Peter, what a beautiful hammer foot right there. That is a lovely one. Look at all those sellers trapped, and we know those are fresh sellers. These are people trying to get the market down because it's in the middle of nowhere. It's not, at any highs or lows where there could be take profits, stops, or anything. These are fresh sellers getting absolutely trapped. Pop above them, buyers came in. Beautiful hammer candle. That is a great hammer foot right there. Lovely. But again, look, we keep going up a bit and then going back down. It's very choppy. And look at these candles, these 1 minute candles, up, down, very dangerous. That's why people are very quick to get out the market. Every time we pop above a high, you can see people getting out the market again, getting out the market. Fresh buyers buying a pullback here, right? These people here, these are fresh buyers again. Entering. All these people are fresh. Lots of buyers coming in right now. Are they going to get trapped? They got absorbed very quickly. Oh, look at that. Popped up into that area. Big explosion of volume. Potentially some profit taking at the top again. New buyers coming in. You can see the numbers popping up. They're really, really trying to get this number up now. Get this market up. So we know these are new buyers. Some of these people are obviously going to have, some of the spikes that we had were going to be profit taking, but as overwhelmingly, a lot of these people are fresh buyers. If we get below them, again, we might have a short. We might have a short if we get below them. But at this moment in time, they're struggling. Look at that, fresh buyers coming in again. These people might get trapped. They're vulnerable. You could front run a trade here and have the stop just above. I'm going to front run and have my stop literally just above the high. I'm going to factor in the spread, which is a little annoying. So I'm going to front run it because we haven't actually got below the fresh buyers yet, but we're getting below them now. We want to see them get squeezed out. If they get squeezed out, I would say this is where all the buyers really kind of came in. This whole area here is where the vulnerable buyers. There are some vulnerable buyers at the top there as well. Let's see if they get. Oh, look at that! What happened there? Damn, they came in aggressively. Oof. Yeah, I'm not fucking with that. I think I'm gonna get the hell out potentially. Actually, well, let's see. We know those are fresh buyers. If they can't push it up, then we can flood down. So actually, I'm gonna hold it. Because if these buyers, these people are vulnerable as hell right now, right? If they fail, oh, this is gonna be good. So I'm not getting out just yet, actually. I'm gonna hold it. Oh, that looks like they're failing. They actually failed. Holy shit, I did not expect all that volume to fail. Oh my. I mean, they could come back in and keep this market up, but I am surprised those buyers failed. Let's see if where they're going to get stopped out. I mean, let's try and figure this out, right? Where their stops going to be. Still below those lows are going to have a lot of stops. And we could probably see them in the footprint if they are actually going to get stopped out. Move. Holy. Now we don't want to release those buyers, so I don't want to really get into that buy area again. This is kind of a bit dangerous, right? But you can see fresh buyers still trying to come in. If they become efficient, I will get out, but because this is still a very bullish market, and the buyers have proven time and time again that they are capable of getting this market up and beating sellers. So, but this is a pivotal moment right now. I can't believe they failed because they came in so damn heavy. They came in so heavy, those buyers, and absolutely, we broke through them. I can't believe that. I was that close to getting out just because of the volume, and I thought, actually, wait, you never know here. They might fail. They are fighting, though. The buyers are really desperately trying to hold on, trying to get above there. But sellers, look at these fresh sellers coming in. Come on, let's plummet it down, boys. Let's do it. Let's punish these buyers. Let's punish them. Come on. Squeeze them out. Come on. This could be an epic move. Come on, you need to get below them. You need to get them out the market. The buyers they're fighting so hard. Sellers, don't give up. Sellers. 200. They keep gapping up. The buyers trying to get back in. This is so choppy here. We just need a bunch of sellers to come in, really push us down. And we've got this. We've got such a good move. Come on. Come on. Beat BlackRock. That was a big institution there. Let's beat them. Let's punish BlackRock. I call every institution BlackRock. That's just like a running joke, basically. Who knows who it really is? Probably not BlackRock, but it's just a running joke. Oh, here we go. Come on. The distribution's looking a bit better. Let's keep that bearish. You can see the buyers still coming in. Come on. Are we going to do this? Look at those buyers. 350. They're piling it on. They are really piling it on here. I'm starting to see the sellers slowly failing here. It's still possible, but they're not coming in how they were. The sellers really, I'm not seeing really big sell numbers coming in. They are proper. I mean, they're holding them back, but buyers can just add a bit more volume like they are now, and I think they've got it again. They're taking control. Such a shame. Such a shame. That was so close. All right, I'm gonna get out. That was so close, man. So close. We could have beaten BlackRock. Potentially, it could still happen, but I'm just not seeing the sellers come in, man. And if they're not coming in, they're not coming in. I mean, they might come in now and flood this market down. That would be a bit annoying, but it is what it is. All right, let's see. Let's see what the chat's saying. How big is your usual position? Really depends, Daniel. Really depends. Oh, look at this. The sellers did come in. Oh, come on, sellers. Why didn't you do it a bit earlier? The hell was taking you so long? Never mind. Never mind. We'll catch the next one. Yeah, my usual position. It really depends. It's like if I see something really good, I'll add more size to it. But otherwise, I just enter. Like on this account at the moment, this was a 20K account. So we're now at 23.5. Oh, the sellers got eaten up there. So I'll enter with like one lot. But if something looks really good, and you know when it looks good, when it just lines up, everything lines up nicely, and the market's a bit less crazy than it is today. Today it's a lot of volume and a lot of big swings up and down. So you really don't want to be putting on too much size, you know. Very easy you can get stopped down, and you're going to have really tight stops and be really cautious with your trading. But it looks like the buyers have just look, they're trapping sellers again. Unfortunately, the sellers just didn't have enough oomph to get it down. But so close, man, so close. Right there. You know, when we got below them, I thought these guys are going to start dropping off, but they never dropped off. They held on. So fair play to those buyers. They had balls of steel there. They were holding on and came in aggressive to try and get this market up in their favor. But I guarantee you, whoever this person was, they were sweating for a few few minutes. They almost got humbled. Almost got humbled. They're not probably taking, yeah, you can see them now getting out. Those buyers there, they're trailing now, and they're out the market. You literally just saw that, right? As it went above, they put their stops back to break even. They're like, nah, I'm not risking that shit again of it going down, and they just got stopped out at their entry. So they're out the market now. But for a few minutes, these guys here were shitting their pants. I'm telling you that, because that could have gone really sour for them. But now that they're out the market, look how easy the market can flood a little bit, right? And we were hoping they were getting out the market here, because if they got out the market a bit lower down, we would have had that movement down and really got a nice move. But unfortunately, they held on, they propped it up a bit more, and they got out basically at break even without a loss. So what can we do? It is the way it is, you know. It doesn't always work out perfectly, but almost. I've got a low volume node as well, along with an overnight high. Awesome. It's SVP, but 180. It's the session volume profile, but 180 rows shows more details, and I tried to match it with the footprint gaps. Nice. Well, that's a good way of doing it, Charis. Great way. We are at 24,745. I mentioned before. Just took profits here. Amazing. Well done, Charis. That is a beauty. Can you ask if anyone here has any experience using Lux Algo's AI indicator creating tools? Looks cool, but not sure if it's worth it. Never heard of it. I've heard of Lux Algo, but I've never tried any of their stuff. So anyone in the chat, if you guys can help Peter, if you've ever tried it, let us know. Can you show where the gaps are coming from, starting at 6725 and above? Absolutely. Yeah, of course. So I'm going to zoom out a bit. So I think this was yesterday's, so yesterday's session volume profile. It's the highs here. So they were created on this kind of move down, right? So really this area, oops, I can barely draw. Again, I'm using this shitty tool here. Let me use this. They were created kind of in this area here, right? On this push down, that's where the gap was created, all right? So there's I keep clicking all the wrong tools. And then the one above, that one is, again, the day before that, so Thursday, you got one here. It's not a great one, to be fair, but on the 15-minute, on the actual whole push down on the session, on the not anchored, fixed range from the high down to the low, we have a gap here, and then we've got another one up here, which we're far away from still, and another one up here. These two higher ones are better. Like this one's better and this one's better. Ideally, this one is really nice, right? But we're still, days away from getting up there. But this one will still have, I would say, quite a decent reaction potentially, right? Should definitely get at least a few scalps when we get up there. So that's where all the gaps I have drawn out from. Okay. Use the volumetric OBs and match them with the footprint charts. Should be epic. I had the volumetric OBs, but never matched them since I cancelled it. Right. What is opening breakouts? Is that what OBs standing for? I think buyers are chasing Friday's high, then sellers might come back strong. It does look like that. I mean, we're very close to those highs. That does line up to that gap as well. So I would definitely be interested in shorting when we get to these highs. 100%. Amazing trading here. Do you watch Gamma or GX? I don't. Tactical Data Desk. I don't. Everything you see is basically what I do. I just try to track who's in the market, who's coming in, who's getting out, and who's vulnerable. That's all I ever try and do, right? And then when it goes sideways, you kind of it's just a battle. So you kind of wait for the next cycle to appear, and you keep doing that, Sammy, where can I find your email? I don't see it in the description. Thanks in advance. I can type it in here. It's really simple, my email. So it's sam@olaprime.com. All right. I've just put it in the chat there for you, Coach C. Order blocks. Order block. Okay, gotcha. Lux Algo volumetric order blocks. I've never tried it, never seen it, but sounds interesting, man. Sounds interesting. Autumn, good to see you. Always bringing that energy, Autumn. Let's have a look. What have we got going on now? So, where were we? We know those fellas here are out, right? These guys, they got out. They shat their pants and then they managed to get out at break even. Fair play. We had some sellers come in below trying to chase it. They pretty much got out at break even. Everyone's getting out very quickly. No one's holding this stuff anymore. And then we did have a little spike in volume there. Now, whether that is take profits or hard to say. The high is really a bit higher up. So I don't think those are take profits. I think those are actually fresh buyers trying to buy the market. And then, yeah, you can kind of see where the volume spikes as we break below that candle again. Whoops, we've got a bit of a volume spike here. So I think those are those buyers getting stopped out. Definitely fresh sellers coming in here. They defended here as we got back to the entry. They didn't get out the market. They actually defended. Now fresh sellers coming in again. But we know there's a lot of buyers willing to buy here. So I don't really want to be chasing them because I feel like they're going to get trapped, those sellers. I don't think they're going to be that effective. And already they're starting to potentially have a bit of problems. So all looking it's all a bit squashed right now. And just in general, it looks like we're just bouncing between those two gaps, right? Really what we're doing. We're just currently just bouncing between them. So, and it's a very small area. I wouldn't say there's really much room for trading here, unfortunately. We got again, you can see those sellers got out. They're out the market. These people who originally came in, look at the buy volume spike. That's them getting out again at break even. Everyone is kind of jumping in, really tight stops, getting out. That's why it's such a choppy market right now. No one is really dedicated and holding their trades. Everyone's getting stopped out left, right, and center, essentially. So, like, they'll try it, but then fails. And but that's what happens when the market goes sideways, right? No one really ever wins in a sideways market. A few people do, don't get me wrong. A few people who, buy at the bottom, sell at the top, and really play it. Yeah, they kind of do all right. But people trying to trade that kind of continuation, an actual move, that they don't last long. And that's essentially what we were doing, earlier. We were trying to hold, wait for that continuation, squeeze them out, but it didn't happen. You had to get out, and you basically you don't really win. You might not lose. You kind of just get out and break even a bit, and it's just a bit, you just got to sit there and wait for the next opportunity, really. So it is what it is. You're welcome, Coach C. Henny Free Lane price action today is so bad. I know. I know. It's a disgusting market. Let's look at the higher time frames. Is there anything that we can see that kind of might make a bit more sense as to why it's so bad? I'm just going to go to the candlesticks. I'm going to get rid of all the drawings just so I can see the pure structure of the market. Look, we were in a bearish market for quite a while, right? For the last week, essentially. Not last week, if that makes sense. And we're approaching those highs. It looks like we had a bit of structure now starting to form on the bullish side, bit of a dip. And we're about to take out the major, the last proper high. So I think there's, a lot of sellers trying to come in, trying to get this market down because they're expecting, people who are very bearish on this market longer term, they're seeing this as right, we could potentially, go right back down again. And then you also got a lot of people who are looking at it in the bit more shorter term and seeing, well, actually, we might break these highs and this might become more of a bullish market then. So we're in that kind of area where there's a lot of two different ideas of what's going on. Oh, something's happening. Something is happening. Let's go back to the footprint. Let's see. See what happened to the volume here. Oof. Oof. Let's just see what happened again. Look at that. Bunch of buyers try to get the market up, trade below them. They're all dropping out the market now. And stops are probably just been hit as we got below those lows. Around here, yep, we see a spike in volume. There's a lot of people getting stopped out. A lot of buyers getting squeezed out the market right now. Oh, look at that move. Look at all the buyers trapped at the top, people who try to play the range, right? Buyers trying to buy the bottom, instantly out the market. Boom. Trapped, gone. No mercy at all. Just going to draw this gap out a bit better. I can imagine there would be a potential good buy in this area here now as we get lower down. All sellers came in hard. Peter, you can try Big Beluga Smart Money Concepts, 95% the same as Lux Algo. FOMC this week might be slow until Wednesday. Absolutely. That's also another thing. So very, very well. My brain's gone dead. Well remembered, Cody. Good point. Coach Sam, how are you? And chat. Tanaka, I am great. How are you? Gap right below on NQ 27721, but it's very recent, so I think it will accelerate a move lower. Yeah, so the really recent ones sometimes can be a bit tricky. They don't always hold. The further away, generally, the better, Yeah, it's happening. 640 and 620 TP for shorts on NQ, all gaps. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, look at the buyers are willing to again jump in. They're not fucking around here. They jumped in a bit early. I was expecting a bit lower down for the buyers to come in on this gap here. This is really where I want to wait for. So I'm not going to chase it either because, all right, look, we know for a fact these lows here is going to have a ton of stops, right? For any buyers who were holding are going to get stopped out below here. And then we also got stops below these lows here, right? So as we kind of broke below there, I think that was a lot of buyers getting stopped out. So not true sell volume. So even though we got a bit above it, I don't count it as fresh. These are fresh sellers coming in. So these people are vulnerable now. Those sellers are the vulnerable people. These guys right here, this 317, 252, they're vulnerable. If they fail, we can push this market up again. But they're coming in. It's just sellers. No real buying pressure right now in the market. It's all just sellers, right? I'm going to have my finger on the buy button just in case, because we do have this low here where I expect a big spike of buyers again getting stopped out. Anyone holding a bit longer, their stops are very close right now. So I imagine it's probably going to take them out. Boom, took him out. Didn't really get much of a spike, so maybe not too many stops. Maybe people are already out the market. Didn't really get any major spike in volume there. So I think there wasn't really any stop losses there, but these are all fresh. All right, now buyers are starting to trying to come back in. But realistically speaking, to squeeze out, to get this market really up, we need to squeeze out these sellers here, right? Unless a new wave of sellers come in, get trapped, and then we squeeze them out, then we have potential to jump in, right? But buyers are trying to come in, but they're not doing anything good right now. New wave of sellers just came in. Can we squeeze them out? Again, big sellers coming in. Look at that, 300. There's still another 100. These are now the new vulnerable, potentially vulnerable people in the market, right? These people are shorting at the bottom. If they fail, but they're doing very well. They're doing very, very well. It doesn't look like they're failing at all at this moment in time. In fact, it's still buyers being trapped at the top, but get above these guys, squeeze them out. We have a potential trade. This could be it now. All right, we're starting to get above them. I'm going to go in. I just want to. All right, I'm going to go in one buy. Realistically, my stop can be below that candle. So a really tight stop again. Put it here. Now we want to try squeeze these bastards out the market, right? These guys need to get squeezed out. So we need to apply the pressure. The buyers need to come in heavy, strong, really come in with vengeance, right? And then the next area we want to squeeze out are these people here. They've got to get squeezed out next, right? So we want to get above them. Then it should be a nice trade. But this is still very dangerous territory right now. Sellers could come back in, defend in this area, just push this market down, and we got to get out, right? So let's see if we can get above that black line. That's good. There's good, decent buy pressure coming in. Not a huge amount, 90, 85. There's a little bit, but not a massive amount. We need to see bigger numbers if we really want to get this going. Yeah, they look like the sellers kind of trapped them there a little bit. Let's see if those buyers here can kind of prop it up and hold them. But it doesn't look like they are, to be honest. We'll give them a few more seconds in this area. If they can't, I will want to look at exiting. I'm going to have my finger on the exit. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to do it, unfortunately. We'll give them another few seconds. Sometimes it takes a few seconds. We got a really tight stop. It's not a big deal. Give them a little bit more time to get it up, because they almost did it. They've got to. They could do it. Because I'm seeing sellers come in and then get absorbed very quickly in this area. So there are definitely buyers here adamant and not allowing those sellers to get lower. But it looks like they're just coming in a bit too strong, these damn sellers. Come on, hold them off. Come on, buyers. Let's make a nice rotational move up. Nah. Look at that, 283. We're trading below them. Come on. Come on. Nah, another 200. Oof. Back down to 73, though. There are buyers coming in. Nah, I think they've got it, unfortunately. The sellers were just a little bit too strong. I'm going to leave my stop where it is. If I get stopped out, it's no big deal. Because I'm going to just give another couple of seconds. Maybe these buyers can come in. I don't want to get out just yet, and then potentially a wave of buyers come in and get this market up. So I'm happy to get stopped out where I am, but I'm not going to exit early, because there could be that wave of buyers who are just going to try and get this up. But it's looking like the sellers are doing very well here. Love seeing the basketball in the background. High school hoops for 20 plus years. Amazing. So that basketball, and I'm out. I got stopped out there. All right, well, shit happens. And then look at all those sellers. That's actually me right there getting stopped out. A lot of people had similar stops, if you actually look. Exactly where I got out. All these buyers who joined in, who had the same idea as me and thought we could squeeze out those sellers, or we all got triggered at the same time. But all right, we were on the losing side on that one. The sellers were just a little bit too powerful, unfortunately. So we can get rid of all these lines here. They're no longer in play. We don't really have to, what do you call it? Have them on the chart. Well, our next area of interest is really just below here now. So we're going to wait for that to happen. And I'll read some of the comments here. I've seen that. Yep, it's happening. Thank you. I love seeing the basketball in the background. I coach high school hoops for 20 plus years. Amazing. So that basketball, that was we used that basketball for the advert we did with Carl Anthony Towns. So because we sponsored him, or like he was our brand ambassador or whatever for Ola Prime, obviously. So that was the basketball he used in the advert. And then obviously after the shoot, I was like, I'm taking that home with me. Yeah, I'm gonna take it home, put it up on the shelf. Why not? So pretty cool. But I didn't get him to sign it. I don't know, the complete brain dead moment. I don't know, you're standing there, you're holding it at the end. I always, the whole day I was like, make sure he signs the basketball at some point. He never did. Completely forgot to ask him. So it would have been better if he did sign it. Do you have a Discord, bro? I don't have my own personal Discord, but I have like a section within Ola Prime's Discord. Okay, so if you join Ola Prime's Discord, you'll see my own little channel within theirs. Yeah. All right, let's see what's crack-a-lacking here. So we know that's a lot of, again, we know those are a lot of stops, right, being triggered here. But also a lot of fresh sellers, just based on the volume, right? Me included, that was me getting stopped out there, right? Me entering, me getting stopped out. Obviously, I trade on a CFD, so it doesn't actually show, but you catch my drift, right? I had the same idea as what these people were doing, and we failed. But now we're look, fresh buyers still coming in, right? But I'm not convinced at this moment in time, but these buyers are going to do it. I'm not truly convinced yet. I really don't want to be buying until we get lower down in that area there. Let me just draw it out a bit neater. I've got it a bit badly drawn here. Yeah. Well, there's a really good one here. That was a gap at one point, but it's been kind of filled. Let's put that there. Beautiful. All right, cool. So that really held. That gap there's the one that held. Ideally, it would have been nice if we got to this one. This one was the really nice gap. But all right, fine. Did it in this one. Not bad. Not bad at all. So we see fresh sellers coming in again. Trying to get these people are the vulnerable people. But like I said, we don't really want to be trading until we get lower down, Can you give me an example from today where we started the sell-off while comparing the session CVD as you explained in the video? Absolutely. Absolutely. Good idea. So the session CVD, right? So in this area here, let me draw it out for you real quick. We kind of went sideways, right? So I would use the session CVD to figure out who was more efficient at getting the market up or down. Okay. So just on that little range, I'll look at where the range started. We kind of started around this area, and we were anywhere from like 10,230 to 11,600, because we did have this one big buy candle, right? That's kind of skewing the data a little bit. So maybe we want to start like around here. Call it 12,000, right? Make it nice and easy. And then towards the end, we were Yeah, no, we were flat. So the session CVD wouldn't have given you any kind of incline that this is going to go down, sadly, right? Because we remained around 12,000. Both buyers and sellers were actually equally efficient in this area, right? There was no imbalance in this area. They were equally efficient. The only reason we sold off was just one side got way more aggressive. The sellers got way more aggressive. Buyers gave up, essentially, stopped trying to buy the dip. And once that was it just flooded down. So unfortunately, the session CVD in this area didn't give us any clue whether it was going to go up or down, right? It can only give you a clue if there's an imbalance in the market, but that was very well balanced. That because there's only two ways. The only two reasons the market goes sideways, right? It either goes sideways due to actual balance, right? The market is balanced, buyers and sellers are both as aggressive, as determined, and the market doesn't really go anywhere because they keep canceling each other out. Or there's a shit ton of absorption by one end. So, you've got lots of buyers constantly coming in, but somewhere here there's like a big kind of, passive seller sitting in the book who's just absorbing all those buyers, right? Building up a big order. And then once their order gets filled, they're going to come in really aggressive selling and get this market down and overwhelm all those buyers. So the market will still go sideways, but really there's like a big institution just absorbing all that pressure. And that's when the session CVD will give you a clue that's happening, because what you're going to see in a session CVD is, say we were at 10K contracts at the beginning of the session, at the beginning of the range. As buyers keep coming in, trying to get this market up and getting absorbed, their numbers are going to keep going up and up and up, right? And maybe towards the end, we're now at 14,000 delta to the buy side. We know an extra 4,000 buyers came in, all absorbed. They couldn't get the market up. We know now that there's an invisible big passive seller in the book just absorbing all those buyers, right? So our bet then would be, there's a good chance that seller at some point, once they're filled, whenever it is, who knows, they're going to come in super aggressive and get this market down, and then they're going to sell lower down and make a big profit, right? But in this case, at the top tier, it was just pure, genuine balance. There was no, do you know what I mean? There was no manipulation or anything like that. It was just genuine balance. So it is what it is. I hope that kind of helped. It's Job. I'm going to call you Job. I'm going to call you Steve Jobs. My voice is I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. Can you hear that raspiness? I'm not sick or anything. I don't know. I need some water or something. Test. No, it's still raspy. I don't know. I feel fine though. So actually sounds quite good. Sounds a bit more manly now. Yeah, thanks, Mark Zucker. Oh, we've just got into the area. Let's have a look. So what I should have done is look where our potential stops are going to be. I mean, we low there, and it kind of hints to that high. So I can imagine there's going to be, if there were any buyers a long time, or sorry, not stopped, take profits. My bad. So we're going to expect that black line is going to have any people who did sell. There's going to be a few people willing to get out, taking profit around this kind of area, right? So we want to see sell numbers spike up as we get there, to indicate sellers are getting out the market. And then we want to see a potential fresh wave of sellers get trapped, and then buyers above them, and boom, we go up. So we have yet to see sellers take profit. I mean, we could argue that some of these guys are taking profit. That kind of does make sense. But really, we kind of want to, we want to get, if we touch the actual low, just gives us a little bit more confidence, right? But that is actually like, especially if we see the number spike at the line, then we know for sure take profits, right? Bunch of sellers get out the market, their take profit got hit. Then, naturally the market is always going to retrace a little bit. It's going to drift up a bit just from that. And then we want to see, like fresh sellers try come in, try get this market down for a second leg, fail, we trade above them, and then we go in long and squeeze them out, right? Same playbook every single time. All right, so we've got some fresh sellers coming in. Let's see how good they are. Are these people happy or are they sad? Imagine you just entered here, right? Where are you going to put your stop loss if you're a scalper? Well, naturally, your stop's going to be above here, right? We know pretty much quite certain those sellers there, they're right now feeling okay because look, more sellers are coming in. They're doing all right. They're probably very happy. They're all like, oh, this is a great trade. But they are vulnerable. They are vulnerable. Boom. We just saw that spike. It took a second there, but you just saw that number spike up, right? To the sell side. That was a lot of profits getting triggered. So now we know a lot of sellers have got out right here. It only spiked for a second and it was quickly absorbed by buyers. So it was hard to see, but it did spike up to I think 300. So we know any volume coming in now, right? As long as we're kind of, above that low there, we know for a fact these are fresh sellers. So if we see a lot of fresh sellers come in, fail, we've got a potential trade here. So we saw those buyers come in. I'm going to jump in already for a buy to because I can have now a stop just below that if I'm wrong. Because where did the original sellers come in? The ones who have got money on the line? It's these guys here, right? So now, if we get into that area, this is where the battle is going to occur. These sellers are either going to get the hell out the market or they're going to get squeezed out. And it looks like they might get squeezed out. So we're above them. There they are getting squeezed out. Boom, boom, boom. They're out the market. Look at all their stops getting hit. But we still have stops higher up. Remember that, right? Let me just move this. That's a lot of those sellers all getting stopped out, right? But we know that there's going to be more stops above here. So we need to there's still more to clear. Do you know what I mean? Boom, stops are getting hit. See the numbers spiking up a bit, right? Now, if fresh sellers want to come in, they can push this market down. Just remember that. We're only trading the reaction, essentially. But I'm going to try and hold it to see if we can get that extension. But I need to see fresh buyers come in. Fresh buyers. Aggression, real aggression come into the market. If we don't see that, because a lot of this buy volume is not really true buy volume. Like this 500, they're not real buyers. They're just sellers getting stopped out, right? There's no real defense going to really happen in that area, right? So unless buyers come in and keep this market propped up, do you know what I mean? But it's good. We're seeing real buyers coming in. These are fresh buys. Now, these guys are vulnerable, right? Now we know these people are vulnerable. So if they start failing, guess what's going to happen? They'll get squeezed out and the market will go back down again. So these are the guys we're keeping our eye on now. They have to remain effective and keep this market propped up. If they don't, we got to get out because that's the first sign of, oh shit, this ain't going to work out. Do you know what I mean? So let's keep an eye. You can see the buyers trying to come in. They're fighting good. They keep reloading, but they are getting absorbed a little bit here. But let's give them a few seconds. Let's see if they can, find a bit of strength here and pop this market up. But we are at the first gap. Let me just get rid of that. We are approaching that first gap, which could be slightly dangerous. Is it still a gap? It is. Oh, it's a very nice gap, actually. So this is the first area of danger. Realistically speaking, uh, if these buyers can't keep it up, my stop has got to be below that candle. If they fail right here, we don't really want to go much lower than that. Then I'm getting out. I'm calling it, unfortunately, potentially sellers could take over again, right? So let's just see what happens. Come on, buyers, keep it up. Show me the money. Almost there. We'll look at the chat in a second. Just got to keep my eye on the footprint because I don't want to miss any valuable information here. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Trap those sellers at the bottom. Nice. This is definitely going to be some sellers here getting stopped out again because we just took out that high. So I'm not seeing it as true buyers yet, but I want to see true buyers come in and hold this line. We're just kind of getting a bit of sell pressure coming in, but come on, let's prop it up. Let's keep it up. More sellers coming in. Come on, buyers. I want to get a really nice leg, like the leg down we had, but on the bullish side. Come on. This is a gap. So theoretically, I should be looking at selling. But if I see like a sell entry, I'll obviously get out of the buy, right? Because it could just break through. So I'm not going to necessarily jump out just because it's a gap. But I am very cautious because technically speaking, this should be an area you'll be looking to sell at. But if the sellers don't take over, then it's fine. We can break through that gap, right? Happens all the time. Good. We had some fresh buyers come in. These guys here. All right, it's not a lot, 74 contracts only, but I like how the sellers are staying below generally. But we are seeing that sell pressure come in, so they can still take it over, right? They're willing. They want to push the market up. I mean down, sorry. Look at that, 270. They're not moving much. So they are getting 399, 400. Damn. These sellers aren't fucking about, are they? Oh, they're starting to... Come on, let's get above those sellers. See, I want to see that volume on the buy side. I don't want to see it on the sell side. I want to see buyers put in that volume. Come on, be as aggressive. What are you waiting for? Let's get above those sellers. Keep them trapped. There we go. Keep them trapped. Come on. Squeeze them out. Come on, squeeze out those sellers. Oh, it is a battle here. I don't really want to get below much those sellers. I kind of want to keep them kind of nervous, you know? I don't really want to get too far below that big chunk of sellers because that will encourage more sellers to come in. That's the problem, right? No one's going to sell if we're trading above heavy sellers. But if other people start spotting, oh look, those sellers are pushing the market down, other sellers are going to jump in, and that causes a problem. Do you see what I mean? And then you just add more pressure. But as long as they keep failing, it's okay because no one else is going to want to sell either, right? They're not going to want to join those people because that's quite dangerous, right? So that's why I want to stay above them, really, which is good. We're staying above them. We've got fresh buyers coming in. But there needs to be a bit more, to be honest. I need to see more volume. The buyers are they're doing okay, but they're, we're approaching that high now. We really got to break in. You see fresh sellers still trying to come in. Yeah. Look at these freaking sellers. Give up. It's not your day. You've had your time, sellers. You had a nice little push down. Let the buyers take over for a bit. Come on. Let's all play fair here. Look at them. Look at them. They're coming in. All right, we don't want to get below that 3. Nah, we're getting below. Buyers, you have to defend here. That's it. Come on, prop them up. Let's get a. This could actually be a good move for us because we had a lot of sellers here get a bit, what's the word? A bit ballsy and come in, trying to get this market down. And we're again instantly we kept it above them, adding more fuel to the fire for any potential seller right now. These guys are now also going to be a bit scared, right? Because they literally jumped in and instantly we're above them. So they're going to get squeezed out any second. Boom, they're starting to get squeezed out. You're seeing the numbers spike as we broke that high there. Their stops got hit. So these guys are out. That's it. There we go. There's all the sellers getting stopped out. Ha! We squeezed them. All these guys all getting out here, getting squeezed out. I don't know what the hell I just did. Oh, that's a highlighter tool. But yeah, nice. All right. Next area of interest, where could it be? Well, I mean, we've got this gap at the top here, so let's see if we can keep holding this. Oh, look at these damn sellers. Why? Why? There's no need for that. Why are you selling? Come on, give up now. Again, same idea. We don't really want to give these people too much leash, right? Because if it goes down a bit too much, other sellers are going to be like, oh, look at these guys. They came in hard and they're doing well. And then we're going to jump in, and then before you know it, this market goes down. We don't want to give them much leash. So really, I mean, I kind of want to stay, I want to see buyers come in and get above these guys here, right? We want to get above that 314. There we go. Get above them. That's it. Don't give them any room to breathe, right? Don't give them even that little bit of hope, because if you give them hope, more people jump in, and once a lot of people jump in, then, well, it's over, right? You're screwed. But it's starting to look like these sellers, they're coming in. Look at that. Come on, buyers. You got to do your thing here. Stop faffing about. You got to do your thing here. I'm not comfortable holding much longer otherwise. Don't give them any room. Come on. I want to see buy pressure. Where is it? 27, 150, 34, 21, 7, 18. There's a bit of pressure coming in, but it's marginal. We're not seeing any real fresh buyers right now coming in. Buyers are very scared to enter because they're probably seeing this more as a retracement or a pullback. And I don't blame them, because look, we've got heavy sellers coming in, 300. Again, if we get above that 300, I think you're seeing sellers are getting more happy to try and jump in now. There's just, the buyers aren't there. They're not trading. They're not coming in. Probably because they see it as this is just a pullback on this big move here. And unfortunately, that's all the market will give us. So it is what it is, right? But nonetheless, we got a bit more of an extension on that one. We had a bit more of a decent trade, I would say. The buyers did well for quite a decent period of time. All right, let's see what the chat is saying. Rock band lead singer talking voice. Oh, for my rough voice, yeah. Coach, you should try adding gold to your watch list. Tanaka, I'll be honest with you. Gold is just not something I trade very often. I've never really traded gold. It's just because the footprint isn't that great on gold. You're only seeing a small sliver of the true gold market. So what you're seeing in the volume on the futures market doesn't have that much of an impact on the overall day-to-day price, right? So you're better off if you're trading like order flow. Really, it's only the ES, the NQ, because they're the futures market is like the majority of that market. Do you know what I mean? And you're getting a lot of like the data you're seeing really does impact the movement of that market, and so you can read it a lot easier. With gold, you might see something, but the market will do the complete opposite, because it's just whatever caused the market to do that. You're not seeing it in the order flow, so you're kind of trading blind for the most part. So gold is a bit harder to trade, especially as a scalper. Swing trading, absolutely, because then you can look at the overall structure. You get like longer term moves, 100%. So you want to, if you're a scalper, you want to only really be trading the ES to NQ, like the indices, right? Good morning, Sammy. Do you call out your trades here? Yeah, like when I enter, I will say like, okay, I've just entered and you can see me trade live. So yeah, as long as you're like paying attention to the stream, you'll see when I enter and exit. Oh my God, 24,613 hit. Well done, Charis. Amazing stuff. How do you know all this, Sammy? How do you know who's coming in and who's getting stopped out and so on? So ZT content, very good question. So as long as you read the numbers, that makes sense, right? So for example, that black line there, that was a previous low, right? Of this little low here. So naturally, anyone who sold higher up, if you had wherever, imagine you sold here, for example, right? Where is your take profit going to be? Well, it's going to be kind of in this area, right? It will either be that black line or it'll be between, these lows here, but it's going to be, just based on logic, right? Nothing else, just logic. Where's my little pen tool? Here it is. Your take profit is going to be in this area here, right? That's easy enough to figure out. And because we know that any sell take profits, they're buy limit orders. So on the footprint, they will get matched up to a seller, meaning they will show as sells, right? So if we see a lot of sell volume all of a sudden spike up in that area, we know a lot of those sellers who got in, here, wherever, anywhere on this move down, are taking money out the market. They're exiting, right? Their take profits getting hit, and they no longer are in that market, right? So then we know, all right, fine. Majority of sellers have got out. They've taken their money out the market. Great. And we saw that spike happen, especially on that black line. I mean, it closed as plus 69, but for a split second, you saw it go up to like negative 300 if you play it back. So we know there was a lot of take profits getting hit. Now, what I'm looking for is fresh sellers coming back in, some sort of pullback, fresh sellers. And we did see at some point, I can't remember exactly why, but we saw some fresh sellers come in, fail, and then we got above them because we know those fresh sellers that came in real time, they can't be people taking profit because we haven't created a new low. They have to be new people getting in. Those people are vulnerable. Anyone who gets in fresh is going to be vulnerable in the market, right? So the moment we get above them and squeeze them out, and we see buy pressure come in, we want to jump in and basically bet against them, right? And that's exactly why, I can't remember exactly where I jumped in, but yeah, I jumped in like basically here somewhere, right? You can't see it that well in this example but in real time, I'm pretty sure we saw some heavy selling come in, fresh selling coming in. And then the moment they started to fail, I jumped in against them because, well, they're going to get squeezed out. And if they're getting squeezed out, when they get stopped out, you're going to see big buy numbers appear, right? And all the sellers who did come in and got stopped out, you can literally see boom, boom, boom. They're all exiting here. They're all getting stopped out. And then again here, they got stopped out. So knowing that these people are sellers getting stopped out, any fresh buy numbers you see, like that 112, we know those are real buyers, right? These are real buyers. They're no longer sellers getting stopped out because if it was, they would have shown up here. We've already cleared that part, right? So the fact that they came in here, we know those are fresh buyers. So these people are now potentially, we want to see them stay effective. If the market started drifting below them, yeah, I'm going to get out that trade, right? Because the buyers are failing, right? But they were good, these buyers. So we kept holding and kept holding until we saw them start failing, right? New buyers coming into the market and they fail. That's when you're like, yeah, shit. All right, it's time to get out. So always, try read the story of the market. That's the best way to do it. Oh, a lot of messages. Let me get through everyone and react to the thing. I love your commentary to the numbers. Thank you, Nils. Coach, I'm up over 7,500 since last night. Great day. Amazing, Eric. Well done. Incredible stuff. I can't thank you enough, Coach. I'm so thankful for you. Eric, thank you so much, man. But it's all your hard work. You don't have to thank me. I'm so thankful for all you do. I will retire the wife and thank you for all of this because of you and coaches. It got me to re-enter futures and it's life changing. I'm really glad to hear that, Eric, man. You're absolutely smashing it. Your chart went away. It's just your cam, no chart. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Okay. One moment. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize my chart went away. Okay. How about now? Is my chart back? Good now. That's really weird. It said it was still sharing. I don't know. I don't know where it disappeared, but hopefully, I mean, you didn't really miss anything, to be fair. Nothing really happened. Um, can you make your own Discord? I want to join and have chats about order flow and volume profile. And I got no trading buddy. I can ask Ola Prime. The problem is, because I work for Ola Prime, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to have my own Discord. I might let me ask them if they grant me and say, yeah, okay, you can have your own Discord because they want to kind of keep it all within the company. I'll definitely make one. All right. You froze before and we do not see. Okay, so that's everyone saying no chart, no chart. I'm so jealous of that hair. And now we'll do it all again with the chart on the screen. I will go through what I just explained with the chart. I just want to see if there's anything else I'm missing. Thank you for the explanation. Good. Yep. Perfect. All right. Right before all that talk about order flow, probably last 5 minutes. No problem. Okay, so we're talking about how do I know who's okay, cool. Yeah. So naturally, if you sold up here, I'll just go over what I just said. Imagine you sold here. Where's your take profit going to be? Well, it's probably going to be somewhere here. Do you know what I mean? Either on these lows where this black line is, or that low there. Let me actually just draw it out. That low there. So within that area, you're going to expect sellers to obviously set their take profit, right? So if we see a big spike in sell volume in that area, right? Because we know, remember, sellers take profit will look like sellers on the footprint because it's a buy limit that gets triggered, right? And it only ever shows the aggressive side of the order, right? So a buy limit gets matched up with an aggressive seller, and therefore it looks like sellers on the footprint. So if we see that spike in sell volume, we know now as we dip into there, like all these guys here, like these guys are real sellers, right? Fresh sellers. But so these guys here are mostly going to be take profits because we dipped into that area, all of a sudden it spiked up, take profits, right? So getting above them, I'm not really interested in because they don't really have any real money in the market. These are people exiting the market, right? These guys, however, well, they can't be take profits, right? Because if it was take profits, they would have been already out here. They would have been triggered. So they're real sellers. These are actually people jumping in to try and get this market down, right? We know that just based on the structure, right? So these people got real money in the game and it's big volume as well. So they're the ones we're going to keep our eye on. Same with these fellas here, right? They're real take profits. I mean, not take profits. They're real sellers. Because again, if they were take profits, they would have been triggered here already. So we know all these guys here are real sellers who are vulnerable. They've got a lot of money in the market. If it goes against them, they're going to have to get out the market. And once they get out the market, that enables the market to move up, right? So as the market basically, as this buy pressure came in, and we saw it again at these lows here, we saw sell numbers spike up, knowing again fresh sellers came in around these lows here, and then instantly they got trapped. Big buyers came in. That's when I decided to jump in. Now it was a bit of front running because we may not have got above those sellers, but if we do get above them, like we did, where the stop's going to be? Well, the stops, the guys that entered all here, if they're scalping, their stop losses are going to be around this area here, right? They're not going to have a massive stop. And you saw them get stopped out. Boom. The moment we hit it, great. Those sellers got stopped out. They're now out the market. good buy then. Then we had fresh buyers come in, right? And we know those are fresh buyers because they can't be those sellers getting stopped out, because we're ready, we've already cleared that level. We've been there already, and now new numbers appearing. That means real buyers. So now all eyes on these guys. Are they going to push the market up? If the market goes against them, then I'm getting the hell out, right? Because these guys failed, and then the sellers are going to take over. But in this case, the buyers, they did very well, right? They kept pushing this market up. And that's why every time you see a chunk of volume, until it starts becoming clear, yeah, the buyers are not doing well, then you get out, basically, right? So always, the worst thing you can do when you're reading the footprint is think that everybody is fresh, right? Like, oh, these are all fresh sellers, fresh sellers, fresh sellers, fresh buyers. Not true, right? Always try and figure out who, based on structure, what makes sense. Where are people's stops going to be? Where are people's take profits going to be? And if you can figure that out, you know which ones to chase and which ones to not. Because you don't want to chase someone's take profit. That doesn't make any sense, right? But you do want to chase a big institution getting in and it's working well for them and they're holding the line. Yeah, all right, we can jump in on them. But we don't want to be, jumping in on someone's take profit, like, because that's them getting out and we're now getting in. That's not going to work out good for us, is it? So thank you for the explanation. You're welcome. Right before all of that, okay, I saw that. How many accounts can you trade at the same time at Ola Prime? Actually, don't know off the top of my head. Are you talking futures or forex? Because with futures, I believe you can have up to like 5 accounts, I want to say. I think it's more max allocation rather than like account. I think we have like max allocation of like 600 or 800,000. Just double check the rules, to be honest. Can you message Coach Sam in Discord? You can message. Gotcha. Educational. Black and white. Good to see you. How are you? Is Trump speaking in 15 minutes? I am not sure, to be honest. I haven't actually checked the calendar, to be honest. I know there wasn't news earlier, but unless something has popped up, I haven't checked. I bought 3 accounts at Ola Prime. Nice prop. Great. How's it going, Black and white? The accounts. Holy crap, at 800K. I think it's around that number, yeah. But then you can always scale. Yeah, President Trump speaks. You're absolutely right. He is speaking. Due to hold a press conference at the White House in Washington, D.C. Probably a good chance there's going to be news about the war and what's happening in Iran, etc. So that could cause a bit of volatility. So yeah, probably don't want to be very dangerous to trade, because he could say something and the markets react, and there's no way of defending yourself against that. It doesn't matter about price action, none of that stuff. Like, once something's said, that's it. So better to get off the charts when Trump's speaking. You just never know, man. AI bubble popping soon. I'm almost at my date. Yeah, I think it's hard to know when it's going to pop, but is it going to pop? Absolutely. At some point, it's going to happen. What makes you think it's going to pop soon? What is kind of your reasoning behind that, Black and white? I'd love to know. How is your trading these days? Pretty good, Rip6. Pretty good. I thought 400 or 500. That's amazing. Past 2. I need my last one passed. Amazing stuff, man. I'm sure you'll pass the last one as well. I have 1 live and I'm working on 10 or 11 more. Sorry, 2 live. Amazing. Eric, smashing it as always, man. All right, let's just break down what actually happened here, because we did get a bit of a pullback in terms of where buyers came in. Where are their stops going to be? Well, I think a lot of buyers are going to actually have their stops below that low, right? Because there wasn't really any decent structure Like, I'm just trying to put myself in the buyer's position. If I entered here, where's my stop going to be? Well, conservatively, it's going to be there. I might go, a bit below there. So really, but there's no kind of real clear area where the stops are going to be. But I would say definitely, you know, below some of this heavy volume that came in, I would imagine there will be stops around there, right? And we did kind of see sell numbers spike up as we got there. So I would think some of the original move down, that little 200 and that 200 would be some buyers getting stopped out, in my opinion. These are going to be fresh sellers, 100%, right? That can't be buyers stopped out. So there's a lot of fresh sellers coming in, actually, all getting trapped. So these guys are all vulnerable, right? And as we traded above them, you're seeing that fresh buy volume come in. Oh, especially those sellers there. Yeah, there's definitely, definitely a good idea to have entered around these buyers here because we're above fresh sellers who are getting squeezed out. So actually, there was a continuation trade right there on those areas. Looking back at it now, and yeah, look, we know these are all fresh sellers, right? These guys are fresh. These guys are fresh. They're all fresh. These guys are fresh. They're getting absolutely annihilated. So yeah, there was definitely a continuation trade to be had. This is actually really nice to read. Really, really nice. You can just pinpoint where all these sellers are getting trapped, and we're trading above them. So there was definitely multiple ample chances of getting in, all around these kind of areas, even a bit before, like in that area there was opportunity to get in for a buy. Coach Sam has grabbed a 150k. I'm buying 100k and 25k Wednesday. Amazing. Have you tried ATAS versus TradingView? I've tried ATAS before. Wasn't really that fond of it. I used to use Sierra charts for most of my career, but it's a hard software to use. Even to this day, I didn't struggle to use it, but there were still things like if I wanted to change something, I had to like go on YouTube and do you know what I mean? It was just too annoying. And then when TradingView came out with order flow and footprint charts, I gave them a go, and I kind of grew to like how simple it was. It works. Like it's not the best order flow platform, 1,000,000% not the best. There's way more capable platforms, but for what I do, just the delta footprint, volume profile, and then just like you're seeing what I do, it does that very well, you know. So and I can use it on my phone, although I don't retrade on my phone, but I can I don't know, wherever I am as well. I can log into any computer around the world, any laptop, whatever, and it's there all in the cloud. It just works for me very nicely. So I'm quite happy with TradingView for now. I'm watching company earnings and reports right now, and after a lot of contracts and calls and analysis, I have my date. Maybe a nice DM one day before. Black and white. If you have a date, and yeah, DM me when you think the bubble's going to burst, and I'll join you, man. I'll join you in selling that. Do you usually go in with a market order? Yes, pretty much always go in with a market order. Because again, it happens in the moment. It's very hard. So here we had so many potential entries, right? But I was talking to everyone, so I wasn't looking at it live, but that was definitely a potential entry. That was a potential entry. Even these tops here were potential entries, right? Because we're all trading above a lot of those sellers who we know are fresh sellers getting squeezed out, right? And then again, new sellers coming in, failing. That's another potential entry. Sellers coming in, failing, another potential entry. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to know exactly where the entry is, like beforehand. So it has to be a market order for me. It really has to be a market order. I lowered my TP to 17,000 for NQ and 6,200 for ES. I love ATAS. Well, it's good, good. I mean, yeah, use whatever software works for you and what is, what you're used to. It's absolutely, I mean, they're all very capable, you know, all very, very, even if you use like Cluster Delta, which is like $7.50 for a footprint, still very capable software, right? Hey, Sam, I've kind of lost hope that trade will be available. I promise you it is coming, man. I don't know what's taking so long. I know it's coming because I was tasked to do all the tutorial videos for it, and I'm currently doing it. So I know it is coming. Like I can guarantee it is coming. I don't know what more to say, man. I know I've been saying it for ages, but for some reason this is taking freaking forever to come. But I promise you, it is coming. Same with Ninja Trader as well. Sammy, on Ninja Trader, how do I get my footprint chart to look like yours? Do I select Delta instead of bid ask? Because I see you only have, yes. So this is the Delta footprint, just the difference between buyers and sellers, right? So yeah, Delta footprint. Just check the Olapron site, says soon. Yeah, it is coming soon, I promise. I feel bad because I know like a month ago I was like, it's coming any day now, and it still hasn't come. But it is genuinely coming. I just can't give an exact date because I myself don't know. That's not really part of my job to know. Like, I'm not part of the business team that do all that kind of stuff. So I just get told because I'm asking as well for it. I'm like, come on, man, I need TraderVate, I need Ninja Trader, and I always get like, yeah, we're trying to integrate it into the CRM and blah 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 and all this technical stuff. And I'm like, okay. Why do you keep tick size 4? And can you explain tick size? Absolutely. So there's no magic to the tick size. I have it at 4 just because of how big. Like, all you want really is just how good does each cluster look, right? Like, so you look at each candle. There's about 4 clusters per candle. That's quite nice. It's easy to see, right? If I had it at 1, for example, let me switch it to 1. You'll see what I mean. It's just impossible to read, right? Like, that becomes really difficult to read. There's just too many numbers on the screen. You're going to miss data. You know what I mean? It's very hard to read. So you want to kind of consolidate it in stages of 4. And the reason 4, because there's 4 ticks to a point, right? So if we go to like 710, 1 tick will be 710.25. Another tick will be 710.50. 7.5 is a third tick, and then finally 7.11 is the fourth. So there's 4 ticks per point, right, on the futures. So that's why I do it in stages of 4. So basically per point. So each cluster is 1 point right now, right? If the market's moving a lot more and every candle's a lot bigger, I'll bump that up to maybe 8. Do you know what I mean? So it visually becomes similar to look at, like each cluster. But does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And then for NQ, because NQ moves so much more tick wise, like if I just switch to NQ now and keep it at 4, it's going to look ridiculous. It's just going to be hard to read, right? Again, very difficult to read, right? So with NQ, I'm going to bump that up maybe to like 16. Have a look. Yeah, 16 looks good on NQ, right? Looks nice, and each cluster looks pretty good. So for gold and NQ, what is the sweet spot for tick size? NQ really matters on how volatile the market is. Anywhere between 16 and 24. On some days when the market's really volatile and each candle is just moving a lot, you're going to bump that up maybe to 24. On a day like this where candles aren't actually that big, 16 works well. With gold, I don't know off the top of my head, but we can kind of make, well, gold similar to NQ. Yeah, I would say about 16 looks good on gold right now. But you could probably even bump it up to 20 on gold, to be fair. That looks quite nice. Do you know what I mean? Each cluster is kind of a decent size for each candle. It's easy to read. All right. So that's literally all the tick size is. It's something that you will manually change. Like 20 ticks, for example, on ES just looks like you. This is really hard to read because it's just each cluster is too big for the candle, right? So you want to bump that right down, and then you get a much easier footprint to read. Okay, but we've done about 2 hours. This was a really good session, but I think also profile versus cluster, please. So profile, real quick, exactly the same thing, but it just gives you like the bars of where the heavier volume is and the lower volume. So if you find that easier to look at, by all means use the profile. Me personally, I find that a lot harder to read because like some of the text is going to be white, other text is going to be black, depending on it. My eyes just can't pick it up as easy. Like I don't see the numbers as clearly, right? So I personally just prefer the cluster where everything is just easy to read. But again, if the profile view works better for your eyes and you can see that easier, by all means use profile. There's no right or wrong when it comes to that. This is just personal preference for me. All right. Trump speech. Let's go on full point. Black and white. You're mad. But good luck. Good luck to you, man. By all means, do what you have to do. But I'm definitely not trading during Trump's speech. So I think we'll pretty much leave it at that, guys. What are you expecting today? Do you think we get one more push to the gap we missed and then short it? Very hard to say, man. Longer term, very hard to say. We did. I would be more bullish on this market for now. You know, like in the longer term. If we just go to the candlesticks, to me, this just looks like we've been very bullish, rejected off that gap, come back down to that gap, and it looks like we're going back up to this kind of area. So I'd be more bullish for now, and then start looking at shorts as we get to around 740. That's what I'm looking at. But yeah, it all depends on the footprint, man, when you get there and how it is. So for like the short term, I wouldn't be surprised if we get back up to these highs again. In my opinion, it all just comes down to the volume of how it's going, right? And if we look at the 15-minute, for now, it's looking bullish. The 15-minute, most of the sellers are all lower down in the distribution, right? All the sellers are lower down. Buyers are trading, keeping the price up. It's looking bullish for now. But it all depends what happens at the top there, right? I wouldn't be opposed to shorting the market as we get higher up into these areas. All right. Sam, have a great day. You too, Eric. Love you, bro. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. I've not been trading recently due to other commitments, but I've been watching. Lovely session today. Thank you, Sam. You're most welcome, Alameen. Look at daily. It's insanely bearish. I'm sure the daily is bearish, man. I'm sure it is. But again, I'm just looking at really more short-term trades. Like, yeah, it's been insanely bearish for the last like weeks, but we as a scalper, like 15-minute to a minute is kind of what I'm looking at, So absolutely, I mean, higher time frames, yeah, I would say it's definitely more bearish in a higher time frame, but that doesn't really affect my scalping too much, right? Because it's a really higher time frame for what I'm doing. Thanks, Sammy. You're welcome, Peter. Doesn't matter if you're not trading the daily. Exactly. But black and white, man. Let me know how the trade works out on Instagram, all right? Full porting Trump speech. You madman. But guys, I'll leave it at that. Thank you all for tuning in. And yeah, I'll catch you all tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern tomorrow. I'll be back. So have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you all there. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.